Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nexus Chop Shop. This time we're at episode 5 already, so time's gone by real quickly. With me, as always, my handsome British co-host Hoss. How's it going, buddy?
It's good. It's good. Yourself?
Yeah, can't complain, man. Been a little bit of busy, but, in a positive way.
You're not the only one. Uh,
There we go. And of
Yeah.
course, as our guest this time, we've had him already on the first episode, so I'm really glad to be able to welcome him back. Tetcher, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great. Like you said, pretty busy, but I'm really glad to be back. Really enjoyed this show, and I'm so excited I brought a Halo with me, I've just noticed.
Nice. Yeah,
How confident
definitely. The
I
green
am.
screen looks good, and yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so why don't you guys tell me what do you do for a living, or what do you do in esports community, especially when it comes to Heroes of the Storm. Haas, why don't you give us a start of all the people who don't know who you are just yet?
commentator for commentator for EU and NA both go for Heroes. Me and
Yep.
Tetch did some Ding It stuff in the past 2 weeks as well, promoting their new stream platform. We did some EU Cups there. Apart from that, I also cast CS and I'm an admin for ESL UK for League. That's about it.
And obviously, a very big American football fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I kind of ran out of clothes.
What jersey is it, by the way? I can't tell.
New England Patriots,
Nice.
Super Bowl champions.
Awesome. So, what about you,
Sports.
Tasher, man? We heard that you've been casting with Haas. The Ding It Cup yesterday, was it?
Yep, cast
Who
a
won it,
Ding
by
It
the
Cup
way?
yesterday and last week. It was Navi who won. Navi won. It was Team Kick, who were last second replacements.
Oh my
came in
God.
to replace LDLC, and they came second. Proper ballers. Absolutely. So
Actually,
proud of them.
Quite impressive.
It is, especially seeing as the kind of competition they had. The other teams were Acer, who came third, and Tempo Storm, who
Wow.
came fourth. And we did another one with Hoss week before that, where it was
Liquid.
Liquid, then Gamers 2, and the last match has still not been played, so we still don't know who came third and who came fourth. But yeah, I also do go for, same as Hoss, the EU and NA stuff, and I do offline events coming soon with DreamHack coming up next week, and
Ooh.
yeah, so DreamHack coming up next week, and yeah, I do hosting stuff now as of last iSeries.
Apparently.
Got thrown into that without expecting anything. So yeah, I now do event hosting too. So that's fun.
Awesome. So we're gonna be able to see you at DreamHack then, is it?
Yes,
Only for
I'm
the Heroes of the Storm section, or are you doing anything else?
just
as
for
well?
the Heroes of the Storm section. I'm
Cool.
afraid.
Cool
Actually,
stuff.
no, I'm not afraid. I'm bloody hyped.
So will you have a second caster with you, or is it just gonna be a solo
I
job
w-
for you?
That's for the amount of hours it would be pretty stressful to have that as a solo
Yeah.
job. I will be casting with Caldor, so that will
Sweet.
be pretty cool.
So the finest of the European scene, then, right?
I didn't
Team-wise.
say it. I didn't say it at all.
Team-wise.
Well, I mean, you've got what? SK, Team Liquid Gamers 2.
Team
and-
wise, I definitely go. Team wise, I
that-
definitely
yeah.
go with. Like, it's a shame we only have 4 teams, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Because there's a load more I'd love to see in this.
Like
But
Na'Vi.
team wise, absolutely. And yeah, like Navi, like Kick from from yesterday
Yeah.
as well. But Navi, like I said, they didn't drop a map yesterday, so would have been quite nice to see him here.
Sweet, yeah, awesome. So I definitely can't wait to give that a try. So you guys keep an eye out for the DreamHack 2015. I'm definitely gonna watch that shit. Holy cow! So yeah, but back to the topic of the show, which is of course designing new imaginary heroes for the Heroes of the Storm universe or franchise, so to speak. Don't take it too seriously, guys. We're just messing around here. We're just throwing in ideas, and they are not to be judged as they were
Only
real.
so far, only one person has been proved right on this show.
Oh,
Like not ability wise, but in terms of a hero actually being made a thing.
yes, I know.
'Cause,
Second
Yeah,
episode.
there were leaked files for not leaked files. There was a promotional picture put up for Gul'dan.
It was
So
Gul'dan,
far,
yes.
Yeah,
one
that's
person
Gillyweed.
is right.
Gillyweed.
Second episode, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely hyped for that. I really think the game needs more like mages, right? Mages who are able to deal burst damage, just like
More
Jaina.
mages, more supports. There's a lot of
Yes,
stuff it needs.
Exactly.
More Diablo heroes, more StarCraft heroes. Yeah.
Supports for both of those.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. So yeah, without further ado, I think we can just dive right into the action. And the first one, as always, will be our guest. So, Tetcher, man, we are going to switch scenes. And why don't you sort of introduce your idea without giving away the name of the hero just yet?
Well, if my background isn't obvious, my
What about
hero
your t-shirt?
I don't own one. I missed the BlizzCon sale. I missed the BlizzCon sale for an Overwatch t-shirt, so it's just a Wings of Liberty t-shirt for StarCraft. But the background, I wanted to get a Winston shirt, but I was currently running the London Barcraft event for BlizzCon at the time, so I missed the sale. So I was not able to do that. But yeah, if you can't tell by my background, I am bringing an Overwatch hero because Overwatch already has a pretty impressive roster. Like, I think they have coming up to 20 heroes now already just in Overwatch. And so many of them have the potential. But this is one that caught my eye the most because it's definitely my style of play, which is really annoying and very mobile.
Mm-hmm. And is it a male or a female character?
It is a female character.
Okay, so we got mobile, annoying to play against, female. I think quite a few.
That basically narrows it down to 2.
Yeah, I think so too. So why don't you give it away? Tell us who you're going to be doing.
Well, I'm going to be doing Lena Oxton, aka Tracer.
Pew, pew, nice.
Pew, pew.
Isn't Tracer actually like the flagship hero of Overwatch? Because you can
she's
see her
one of the flagship heroes.
Yeah, right.
It's Tracer and Winston seem to be the 2 promotional. Tracer, Winston, and Reaper seem to be the most promotional people. And there's a lot of stuff going out about crap, what's his name? Hang on, I'm putting up a new tab quickly. McCree. McCree's on a lot of the promotional work as well.
The gunslinger, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Who got his cigar removed? Wait, no, he got his cigar removed in some pictures, but not in the actual main promotional art, which shows all the heroes standing next to each other.
Gotcha.
Can I challenge Tetcher to do this like whole thing in Tracer's accent?
No, you cannot. I refuse.
What is her action actually? I mean,
It's very British, isn't
It's
it?
it's
very
American doing British
Yeah.
accent, basically.
It's overcompensation for the standard like British accent.
Cheers, love. Cavalry's here. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, like classic, proper London.
So do you guys
Proper.
actually know if it's an American person who does the voice for her?
I don't, but that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds like someone doing in their interpretation of a British
It's the
accent. Like, the inflection
overcompensation.
and all that is correct, but the thing is, no one in England actually does speak like that because we've all divulged into bad habits in terms of language and our pronunciations.
Awesome.
You what, mate?
You want me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that we've established that we're going to be talking about Tracer for the next couple of minutes, why don't you give us a brief, insight about your ideas and thoughts when you designed your hero? Like, what was your aim or what was your goal? Like, what concept did you have in mind? Just give it a try.
Well, when I looked at Tracer, firstly, the main thing about her is she's insanely mobile.
Yep.
But all the Overwatch heroes do come with a set of abilities in general. And I've included those abilities, but they only come with 3, and you need 5 for a hero. So I've tried to incorporate them in a way that they still make an effective hero without making a full cut and paste job.
Yeah.
I've also had to rename one of the abilities because there's already an ability called Blink in the game. But but for the heroic abilities, I just read her lore, which has a lot of stuff in it and a lot of interesting stuff in it, and that's where I drew the inspiration for her style, basically, thanks to her. What's it called? Oh, that's bad. That's bad now. Her device that actually allows her to travel through was made by Winston. Chronal Accelerator. That's the one. Her Chronal Accelerator is the source of the majority of her stuff. So there's a lot that can be done.
I read in the wiki that she had some sort of accident with a test vehicle, and that she went missing. And after a couple of months, she came back and had these weird superpowers, right?
Yeah, the teleportation matrix on a fighter called the Slipstream malfunctioned, and she basically vanished. Appeared a couple months later with something called chronal dissociation. Mm-hmm. So she was basically like disconnected from time, kind of thing, and she just kept like blinking in and out of existence and just disappearing, basically like a ghost. And like we said, Winston was able to fix that up for her.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're definitely going to have a very mobile, a very agile hero, right? Who's able
Yep,
to blink
definitely.
around and be a nuisance to enemy heroes. So why don't you give us a a preview or an actually review on the Q skill?
All right, so the Q skill is going to be Pulse Bomb. Now, this is very much a ability taken from the actual kit that she comes with.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try and I put it as the Q skill due to the fact that the majority of heroes in the game, the ranged ones at least, they will have their main skill shot ability on their Q.
Yep.
At least for the single target ones.
Yeah, that's true. Just like Jaina, Jaina, who else would be a good
Jaina,
example?
Vala,
Vala, exactly. Yeah.
kind of Nazibo. Like, it's usually main skill shot for like a short area on the Q, the cone or the AoE skill shot on the W, and then E is whatever else, utility, etc.
Cool. So yeah, Pulse Bomb, what does it do?
Pulse Bomb is basically Tracer will throw a bomb at a target location. If Pulse Bomb hits a hero or mercenary or minion, basically, a minion, mercenary, or hero, it will stick to them. And if it doesn't, it will just land and stay on the ground for 1 second. And after that 1 second, it will explode and do damage in an AoE area.
Nice. So can you trigger that manually, or is it just
No,
always
it's it's a throw 1 second.
Gotcha.
Pop.
So you can't trigger it before it actually,
You cannot.
goes
No.
off. Cool. Awesome. So how large would be the radius of the explosion?
Not very large, like short, way smaller than a Tychus grenade in terms of AoE, and obviously doesn't come with a knockback.
Yep.
I'd say if I had to compare it to something in the game, think the Singularity Spike with the AoE upgrade from Zeratul.
Okay.
Very similar to that kind of style, only more focused on AoE damage. It's damage in just a full circle rather than single target damage and then AoE. It's just anything in that area will take the same damage.
Gotcha. And what about the cooldown of this skill? Like, could you be able to spam that relatively quickly, or is it like a normal cooldown?
A lot of Tracer's abilities are going to be quite low cooldown due to her passive mechanic.
Gotcha. So why don't you talk about that passive mechanic then next?
Okay, well, the passive mechanic is the actual affliction that she is associated with, the chronal disassociation. And the passives is when she goes below 10% mana, Tracer will attack 50% slower due to the fact that her chronal accelerator does actually power all of her stuff, including her weapons, including her teleportation, her extra movement speed she gets from in the actual game of Overwatch is all powered by that. So she attacks 50% slower and takes reduced damage, though, due to the fact that her chronal accelerator is running out of power. It's not holding her in reality as efficiently.
Gotcha.
So she's basically not going to be as efficient in a fight, but she has a chance to get away because she won't be able to use her blinks or anything. She's just on the run. I didn't exactly say how much reduced damage because I felt that would be far too complicated to go into. So I've just left it as reduced damage in the actual thing.
Yeah.
But Tracer could only recharge her mana after being out of combat for 5 seconds, and her mana recharges basically very quickly or almost all at once.
Okay, cool.
So she has to basically use her abilities. The cooldowns can be quite short. She can basically burst out a lot of her stuff, but then she has to get out the fight and wait for a bit.
So
Very first-person shooter style.
Would you maybe then implement like a special mana bar or a special mana pool for her, or would you just leave it as with the other heroes? Because I think in the late game it would be quite strong then, right? Because she has like 500 mana and all the skills are fairly cheap.
Quite possibly. There's definitely a thing you could put
So
it
you
similar
did that on
to
purpose.
Chen's
I'm
Brew.
just trying to clarify that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Like, she is definitely none of her abilities do huge amount of damage. She's very much very similar to a scout, which is what her next abilities will go to show, kind of thing. She's not going to be the person dealing huge amounts of damage. She'll be the person who's more
being
of the
an annoyance.
She's being annoying and bringing utility to the fight with her heroics.
So she won't be like a super hard carry who's...
No, definitely not.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, if I had to compare damage-wise, I'd say think auto-attack Tychus, and you're kind of in that area.
Cool. That makes sense. All right. Off to the W then.
All right, so the W is Recall. And Recall basically bounces Tracer back in time, which returns her health and position on the map to precisely where it was a few seconds before. This has a long cooldown.
Yeah.
but it will basically bounce her back about 2 seconds in time. So you have to pay attention to that. I think it's quite easy to spot because it has a wind up.
Yeah.
So you basically, if Trace is running away from you and she tries to juke you with that ability, you can turn around. But it also means using burst abilities on Tracer is a lot riskier.
Yeah. And I like where this is going. I mean, it's a very unique ability, and the fact that you can escape when you're close to dying just by pressing that W and get back to half health or whatever, your health bar.
Yeah, I would say it would still be a situation of only certain amount of health would be replenished due to the fact otherwise it would be, oh, I've just been judgment and precision striked. I'm just going to rewind back all of that health, which is why it would be dangerous, but you can still do it to just bounce yourself backwards a little bit. Mm-hmm. But there's always the situation of the fact that Tracer is ridiculously squishy in general.
Yeah,
I'm seeing mad LeBlanc jukes here.
Exactly, that kind of thing. But think LeBlanc jukes, but you'll actually get some health back while doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice.
That's really awesome. I mean, just imagine the fancy plays that could occur when you use that skill. I mean, but what would happen, for example, if you could you land in impassable terrain? I think not, because Tracer wouldn't have.
No, it will rewind her to. No, definitely not. It will rewind her to where she was. The only situation that could happen is if she rewinds herself after being punted by the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, right.
But the Dragon Knight punt still takes less than 2 seconds, so I'd say she'd still probably arrive back where she started, unless she waited a couple seconds. Mm-hmm. In which case, that would be a Blizzard thing of, try not to make that happen.
Awesome. Yeah, I like it. So just to sort of immerse more into that scenario, like, how would you, if you were a designer at Blizzard, how would you actually do the visuals for that?
Well, I'd actually do it for everyone else, basically, it would be quite similar to basically Tracer disappearing and reappearing. Mm-hmm. But it's a wind-up ability. You basically see her chronal accelerator wind up, basically. You would see the light happen. Maybe it would spin. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. And for everyone else, you would see her which direction she's teleporting back to. It wouldn't be a full rewind where you just watch her zip back in time. You'd see a phase out, but you see her phase in the direction she's going to reappear in.
Yeah. And maybe if you're playing Tracer yourself, you could get some crazy in-game visuals. Like,
if you're Tracer, you have the full rewind effect.
Exactly.
Where you just run backwards, etc.
Yeah, and like you get a crazy like lighting, matrix lighting, whatever, that makes you feel like you're warping through time back to...
Exactly.
That would be pretty sweet. All right, cool. What about the E?
All right, so the E, I had to, like I said, this is the ability I had to rename. I've named it as Chronal Blink rather than Blink. Tracer basically zips horizontally through space in the direction she is moving. So she has to be moving in the direction she wants to blink. So think a dash, but a dash can make it over any walls and over any terrain and heroes, etc. And this is this can be store up to 3 charges.
Gotcha. And so how could you, like, you face a direction, and if you use your E skill, which is Chrono Blink, you will warp yourself like horizontally
the maximum
towards
distance.
that, right?
You don't get to choose how far you go.
Yeah.
It's the maximum distance, no matter what.
So it's not like a Nubarak's burrow, for example, where you can interrupt it
you
manually.
can't cancel it midway. It's not like Zerator's teleport, where you can choose where in your range to teleport. Mm-hmm. You will zip forward a certain distance.
Nice. So, Haas, what do you think about that? Do you see any issues? Oh, you muted yourself, by the way. Oh, never mind.
No, I haven't. By horizontally, what do you mean? Like horizontally forward, diagonal, like
forward,
or just
forwards as opposed to up?
Yeah, he means like you're sticking to the earth and you're not flying. Up, right?
Yeah. You're not like teleporting through everything. You are just firing yourself forwards.
Okay.
Awesome. And it won't deal any damage, like on the impact,
no,
whatever.
Absolutely not.
No,
right.
just pure utility.
It's just bouncing yourself around the map in whatever direction you're facing.
Nice. Oh man, I can totally imagine that myself right now. Like you dual wielding those plasma pistols, shooting blue laser beams or blue plasma bullets, whatever.
Pulse rifles.
Or pulse rifles, yeah. Onto your enemies. Oh my god, and flashing around like crazy. Totally loving that.
Yes. So I'm sure you played with it as well, the reduced cooldown section.
Yeah.
The reduced cooldown options in the Try Me mode. Mm-hmm. Try imagine Tychus with all his cooldowns and his mana cost reduced, just dashing around a bit, and instead of dashing, he's teleporting. and the fact that you're actually still very similar in damage as well. So
Yeah.
really good there.
I like it. I like it quite a bit. What about the heroic abilities? I guess that's what we're all waiting for right now.
All right, yeah, this is where I had to take a bit of creative license because there's nothing heroic
Yeah, awesome.
style in the for Tracer as a character. Some other characters have it, like Reaper, but Tracer has nothing like that. So the first R ability I put in would be the Chronal Accelerator Overcharge. So this basically means Tracer will get 50% cooldown reduction and a 50% mana cost reduction, which I forgot to put a space between those two words on my screen. But yeah, so basically it's a full reduction and all heroic abilities, on all non-heroic abilities, and gets a 50% attack speed bonus for 10 seconds.
Nice.
So basically she can use all her abilities and attack much quicker. So like a big turbo button kind of thing.
And it would remind me a little bit of Callista May from League of Legends, where she's constantly hopping left and right, forward, backward.
Yeah,
and it's
Callista.
Like,
Callista with Randuins.
awesome.
Sorry,
sauce.
is it Randuins?
No.
Runons, that's the one.
Runons.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's fine. Callista rushes Runons anyway.
Oh, by the way, I think we have a brilliant question in the chat right now. The Partyfall asks if Tracer
Partyfall?
would be like unstoppable during her escapes or blinks.
Her blink, yes, because it is a blink, so she just
There's no
blink
stopping.
instantly.
Yeah.
You can't stop it, same as way you couldn't to Zeratul. However, the rewind, you can absolutely interrupt the animation.
Gotcha. So once she's traveling, though, you won't be able to see her. I mean, on the W on recall, right? You can't like.
You'll see
sort
the
of
direction she's going to. You'll see the direction she's going, and you should be able to predict where she'll end up. But once she's traveling, you cannot stop her.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, the blinks you cannot interrupt, but they don't go as far.
Cool. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Sweet. So yeah, like first R skill, like the first heroic ability is like a steroid. You make her stronger, faster, quicker, and I like it quite a bit. I mean, it's
Or ability, so more blinking, basically.
Yeah, more blinking. Absolutely. More blink. And what about the second one then?
All right, so the second one is definitely I had to take some license, and instead of just making her, because right now she's very focused on being irritating. Excuse me, hiccups. Being irritating and her auto attacks, which don't do too much. She basically has to stay very much at the edge of a fight and just do what she can. So I wanted to give her more of a team fight ability, because right now she's very much a solo hero. So I chose the second ability as a Chronal Deceleration Field,
Yep.
where Tracer will create a large field around herself. Everything within this field will move at 50% speed, including heroes, minions, mercenaries, abilities, auto-attack projectiles. Anything in the field
Nice.
is slowed down.
So that includes projectiles, auto attacks, turret shots.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
So also, not that it matters with auto-attacks and like click and point abilities, because they're still going to hit their target no matter what eventually, but it gives you time to react. If your team has instant cast abilities, then Tastar can turn around and
that
put a
Rhaegar
shield on
heal,
someone.
right? Or
Rhaegar hit.
Hinterland
Rhaegar
Blast.
heal would be slowed down as well because it has a cast animation.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hinterland Blast.
Exactly. Well, Hinterland Blast would go through it if Falstad was outside of it.
Yeah,
because it's not
that's what I was
it's not a
thinking.
travel shot. It's an instant laser.
Yeah.
Or just imagine the big.
I'd love to see a slow-mo Tyrael Judgment.
Exactly, that's the thing. Well, imagine Tyrael judgmenting onto Tracer and her activating it in time to slow him down long enough for Uther to divine shield her. That kind of
and
reaction.
Just imagine how ridiculous an Illidan would look in there.
What? Not with the HUD, just normal Illidan just leaping around in slow motion.
Exactly.
See, Kendrick can probably vouch for me on this one, but at least I'd be able to hit cleanses in that.
Yeah, you could.
That was my one bad thing about support, and
that's the
I
thing.
couldn't play Rhaegar.
That is a fairly good point because cleanse would probably affect this. It is technically a slow.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could probably cleanse someone out of that relatively well.
I mean, you could cleanse
Well,
that person.
I was more so the fact that a Tyrael's coming in. You've got a window of opportunity to land a cleanse.
Yeah,
rather than
exactly.
just
Same with
panicking.
Stitch's hook. Because the Stitch's hook would slow down, which
my
would
God,
lock
that would be
Stitches
amazing.
in place as well when he's outside.
If only Stitches was played.
Rip Stitches. We will miss you.
I think
Not.
I saw him yesterday though during the
Blasphemy.
They
No.
opened the Nexus Cup, I think.
You imagined it. He does not exist at the moment.
Yep.
Stitches just wants to play. What happened to Stitches? Nobody wants to play with him anymore.
Nerfs.
Yep.
Many nerfs.
So what's your guess, by the way, for the next update when it comes to changes? Do you think Blizzard is gonna rewind some of the changes, Jaina, or
Well, I personally, I would think if they're going to change one thing on Jaina, they have to remove her vulnerable ability.
Mm-hmm.
Because putting a vulnerable ability on such a bursty mage character is pretty dangerous. Like, her early game isn't too bad in terms of her talents. Like, you can take the Blizzard build, which we saw a lot yesterday, Hoss. You can take the more standard build with the extra slows or the increased radius, which is still fine. But that once you get to that vulnerable level, you're just godlike.
It just gets out
So
of hand.
I'm not a fan of that at all. So would be surprised to see that maybe nerfed on Jaina, not so much removed.
What about you, Haas? Anything you would like to make them
Tanks.
change again? Tychus?
Warriors.
Yeah.
Warriors.
Well,
I am
what
fed
about
up
Warriors?
with
Warriors are
these.
fine.
No, they're not. Come on.
All of them are picked, just not as
Come
much.
on.
So you
It's-
buff like the lesser picked ones, kind of thing.
I'd.
Because EDC does not need a nerf. Same
No,
with
EDC
Diablo.
doesn't need a nerf. Diablo doesn't need a nerf. I
Everyone else
would
needs little buffs.
put Stitches back, like rewind him a patch, do something to Anubarak.
Yeah, definitely.
Not sure
do
what
something
that
to
something is, but do something.
Give him back rewind. No, it's a terrible idea.
Arthas,
Arthas is fine.
maybe. I know. I feel like
how he is.
Howling Blast. Not Howling Blast. His E. What? Frost something. The
Frozen
slow.
Wastes.
Frozen
Yeah,
Wastes,
that one. That could do with a little touch, I think. What other tanks are there? Muradin. Something. I don't know. Just something.
Like, personally, I still think Arthas is super strong. I just don't get it
Oh,
why
yeah.
he's not getting picked in competitive as frequently. I mean, my win rate on him, not to brag or anything, but it's fairly high. And I think if played correctly, he's amazing at the moment, especially on the smaller maps like Tomb of Spider Queen. Oh my god, I like him so much there.
Yeah.
So what about Sonya, guys?
Sonya's fine. I honestly think Sonya's okay right now.
I see her picked out again, but I think she should always feel more of the second warrior or melee assassin role, which sucks because it would be nice to see her played a bit more.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she had her moment to shine when the Stitches Tyrande Uther comp was like super chic and you know, super popular. I remember Fnatic playing her as an initiator, and then you could hook someone, stun, and pick that target out. But at the moment, she's not really that loved at the moment. I don't know why.
Indeed.
I mean, she doesn't have the chance, or she doesn't have the capability of tanking a team on her own, right? She always needs someone else to do that job. So
Yeah, she's not a tank in the slightest bit. Same way that Tassadar is not a support in the slightest.
Same for Tyrande.
Tyrande has heals now.
She has heals, yes, but that's like saying yes, Tassadar has shields.
well.
Yep.
Before this, we're getting
Gets
lost
out of
in
hand.
Nexus about trying to change the game. Why don't we go on with the second hero? Actually, I think it's my turn now, so I can't
believe it
wait
is.
to show you what I
Saving
came
the
up
best
with.
to last again.
You know, we're always saving the best for the last toss.
Yeah.
Actually, last episode, you came really close to taking the title. I mean, Bakery just beat you by one or two votes, I think.
No, I won it, and then
What?
Bakery
Leave it,
got his,
Hoss.
I won it, and Bakery got his like household pets to vote. Okay, he made them like go on straw poll.
You mean he summoned hordes of SK fanboys to support
Yeah,
their
that.
most
Yeah.
favorite assassin
He basically
player?
got Snitch to vote. Yeah.
So yeah, about my hero that I would like to present to you guys today, I went a similar route, just like Tetcher did, although a little bit different because I didn't choose a brand new title that Blizzard was going to release, but I chose an older title that has been entirely neglected so far. I mean, we have Diablo heroes or characters in the game in Heroes of the Storm, but not really from the previous two titles, from Diablo 1 and 2. So I thought, why not give those franchise some love? And yeah, my hero is someone who found its way during the second part of Diablo, or the second game. and not with the vanilla game, but with the expansion. So that limits us down to 2 hero classes. Do you know which ones they are?
I never played Diablo 1 or 2.
Shit. Get
I
outta
also
here,
never
Ross.
played Diablo 1 or 2.
Oh my god! I'm talking to oblivious persons then. Oh my god!
I
To
also
be fair,
did.
when was Diablo 2 released?
I think was in the late 90s.
There we go. I was born 95.
I was born 94.
Come on, man. What kept you from playing with 4 or 5 years on your computer now?
I didn't start PC gaming until 2011.
Yeah,
Wow.
mine was about the same. My first game was League. Please don't flame.
First game was StarCraft 2. No, wait. First game was Dawn of War. Second was StarCraft 2.
All right. So first of all, thanks for making me feel really old
Yep.
right now.
No problem.
And
No problem.
yeah, I'm gonna try to explain that here as best as I can. And actually, someone in the chat on Twitch actually guessed it correct. So correct.
Druid.
It is the Druid from Diablo 2. It actually found its way during the LOD expansion, where you fought Baal after you beat Diablo, Mephisto, and Duriel, and all the other cool bosses during Diablo 2. By the way, you should definitely give it a try if you get the chance. It's a little bit, dusty right now, but it's still brilliant.
I don't want carpal tunnel, thank you very much.
So yeah, it is the Druid. Let me lift the curtain here on stream. I didn't found a really good name. All the characters in Diablo 3 have a name in the short story, right? They have a person they're talking about and they're named after. So I just called him the Druid, and I hope you guys are fine with that.
I'm sure Blizzard would come up with a
We're
name.
not okay
if it
with
was a
this.
person.
I mean, somewhere I think they have a name for their icon or their, blueprint Druid, but whatever. An interesting fact, though, I found was that the Druids were once barbarians, or they were part of the barbarian tribes, and they separated themselves for some dispute amongst the leaders. Like, I think the barbarians wanted more brute force, and the Druids wanted, more spiritual ways, whatever. And the Druid was a character that was very flexible. I mean, it could transform itself into a werebear. Yep, a werebear. And a werewolf. And was also able to cast some really cool, natural elemental spells. Similar to the Shaman of Warcraft or World of Warcraft. And, so it was tanky. It was very flexible. It was very damagey, similar to the Necromancer a little bit sometimes. And with that, I tried to give it, a little bit of everything. I tried to give it a little bit of transformation, summoning spells, a little bit of elemental damaging spells. So, let's give it a try and start off with the Q, which was one of the iconic skills that the Druid had in Diablo 2. Oh my god, it was a molten boulder. He actually summoned, a magma mass, and it rolled across the screen and damaging everything in its path, and then it would explode into fire shards and damage everyone around. So that was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Actually, I went with the same route, right? You cast your Q, choose a direction, and it will just roll towards it, damaging everything on its path, with a little bit of burning damage, whatever. It could be a dot, it could be flat. And when it impacts, then it will explode and deal additional damage, right?
How big is this boulder? Because right now, this sounds like an amazing heroic ability. Not so much a Q.
It is not that strong. I mean, it won't knock down or knock back anyone. It's just, a little bit of damage. It won't be that big. I mean,
How many murkies wide?
maybe 5 or 6. It should be enough
5
to cross
murkies?
to cross a minion wave. Maybe 5
Yeah.
is too much then, or too many. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was about to say 5 murkies
like-
is about an entranceway to the entranceways to mid lane from
I
top
just-
lane on Dragonshire.
I'd assume one murky.
Gotcha.
Well, murky's not very wide. Two or
Exactly.
3 at
Yeah.
most.
One and a half.
Oh, you mean wide? I thought it was long. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then it's totally.
It's the same. He's a circle.
It's like 1 or 2 Murkies then, not more.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be
Okay.
too wide. It's just a normal Q spell.
Okay.
Okay, off with the W skill then. It's called Cyclone Armor, and actually, what I wanted to accomplish here with this skill is to provide a little bit of protection for the Druid. The Druid would basically summon the power of the wind, get some cool wind animations around himself, and during that period, his movement speed is slightly increased, 10%, maybe 15%, what have you, and this armor will actually absorb the next spell or projectile aimed at the druid. Like, it could be like a Vala Q,
Yep.
I think we might have to adjust it a little bit so it couldn't soak up a Tyrande, Sylvanas arrow or something, because I think that would be too strong. But
I was about to say, because this sounds like soaking up a spell sounds like a much more efficient cleanse.
it would
kind
it would
of
have
thing
to be
if someone like
a
Tyrael
single
comes in.
target spell directed at him.
Yeah.
Like Judgment.
Maybe.
No, I'd say basic abilities.
You could also limit it to basic
Yeah.
abilities.
I think
agree.
basic abilities would be a good limitation there.
Yeah, and I think that wouldn't be a problem to program either. I mean, you just give the heroic abilities something special that won't trigger
Yeah.
the Cyclone armor, and then you're good to go.
Yep.
But it could be like, it could be a Q from pretty much like Sivir's E, right? Someone in the chat mentioned it already. Similar
Yeah,
to that.
Okay.
Just a spell shield, but you gain move speed while it's active.
Exactly. So the opponents actually have to think about it twice, right? Do we want to trigger the spell shield in order to slow him down or not, right?
I'm assuming it's going to have a fairly high cooldown as well.
Yeah, maybe 20
So-
seconds.
Oh, so
maybe.
wait, if the spell shield gets popped, then he loses that movement speed.
He loses the movement speed, exactly.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, so the druid can use it defensively, and then the enemy team has to consider, okay, do we want to catch him, or do we want to use a spell on him, right? So,
Yeah. Is this your situation of who has the shittest spell to pop this thing
yes.
with? What non-engagement spells can we use? Which is, sounds like Tyranda's going to be owling it up in that situation.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think the comparison to Sivir's E from League of Legends is actually a really good one. And you will get to see the synergy or the thought behind it when we talk about his second heroic ability, because that's what I had in mind.
Yeah.
So
Party Foul already seems hyped for that one.
awesome sauce, yeah. All right, let's move on to the E then. It is called Fisher, and it's pretty much an E skill that can target a targeted area on the ground, and the druid then communicates with that earth spirit or whatever it is, and it calls forth a crack, and that crack will, split the earth, and every foe or every enemy who passes through that crack will get slowed and take a little bit of damage. Like, not massive damage, but, a little dot, maybe just like Tassador's Storm when you walk through that one. The main thing, however, is a slow that you get when you
Yeah,
walk.
so it's kind of like... Go on.
I was going to say, it's quite like pre-Psystorm Tassadar, only in a straight line, where he had the, I don't know what the ability was called, where the storm was much less damage, but it also came with a slow, so just a straight line version of that. That sounds
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah, I was going for the opposite of Tyrael Smite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. I don't want it to be circular, but, like squeezed, like a line or something.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be really cool, you put your E first, slow them down, and then you hit them with the Molten Boulder much more easily, right?
Yeah, got some good potential there.
Yeah, and then, of course, we can't have a druid character without any pets or any beasts, and the druid was infamous for spawning or summoning wolves and bears in Diablo 2. So I thought for the first heroic ability to summon a grizzly bear, and this grizzly bear, we have that in other MOBAs as well. I can't remember the name of the Dota champ with the bear. What was it?
Beastmaster.
I'm not sure if it was a Beastmaster, but yeah, you had a bear that you could summon, and that would fight along you. You could put items on the bear. So of course we don't have items on Heroes of the Storm, but you could freely control the bear. That's something really cool. And we saw how that works with the Vikings, right? You press
Lone Druid.
The Lone Druid. Nice, exactly. That's the one I was looking for. And you press your 2 button or whatever you assign to the bear, and then you can control him freely. And that bear will actually, have an aura with it that will empower basic attacks, like not spell damage, not attack speed, whatever, just the raw damage output of your basic attacks and that of your allies if they stand close to the bear.
How close are we talking to the bear?
Similar to ETC's aura, the attack speed aura.
Okay, so standard aura whip, same with Tyranda's attack speed stuff, true shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not too wide. I mean, it probably wouldn't affect ranged assassins if they're very far away from the bear, but champions like Illidan could benefit from that greatly. Holy moly.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, just also, Blizzard marketing people, just imagine the possibilities. You can give cool skins to the bear as well. People will buy it. People will love it. Just saying.
Think Gargantuan, but on a relevant hero.
Yep.
Hey. So Gargantuan on a relevant hero before they nerf. Well, yeah. I don't know
And
where I'm
much
going with
more-
this. Skip
And
over.
much more market and much more merchandisable.
Yeah.
Gargantuans
although
are hard to make
Harlequin-
into
Harlequin
teddies.
Nazebo looks awesome.
Yes.
And the Gargantuan.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. I don't get to see it that very often, though. I have to admit.
Yeah, because Nazebo's bad.
Yeah,
Nazebo got the Stitches treatment.
Yeah, I still take them from time to time, but there's just so many better options in terms of damage dealers now.
I felt so sad the other day when I was giving the old Nazebo build a try, with Ravenous Spirit. I couldn't believe how weak it is now.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
I mean, I give you that. It's not terrible, but it's also not that glorious as it used to be. But
Yeah.
whatever. Secondary ability, now that's the cool thing. Keep the Cyclone armor in mind. It's called Tornado. And talking about Nazebo is actually like the perfect bridge for that, because it's a very similar ultimate, concept-wise to the Ravenous Spirit. I want the Druid, after a short delay, so it has a little bit of an activation time, the Druid will conjure a powerful tornado, and the Druid is channeling this spell. That's very important to keep in mind. He's channeling it, and while he's channeling, he can control the tornado towards the enemies, and then everything in its path will get knocked aside and take some damage.
Yeah.
You've given his heroic the passive, one of the abilities from the boss on Sky Temple.
Not from the boss exactly, because he knocks people up, but more.
No.
You said knock back.
He summons a whirlwind.
That knocks people back.
Yeah, he summons the whirlwind.
He has a
yes.
a slam ability that knocks
I
people
thought
up.
about the other one. I thought about the slam. Yes, the whirlwind. Exactly. Yes.
Okay,
But
on,
you know,
on an actual
unlike-
hero.
Damage.
Unlike the boss, the druid would actually have to stand in place and channel this, and could get
Alright.
interrupted, of course.
And it deals damage. So the idea, I guess, here is Cyclone Armor, and then you get a good at least 1, maybe 2 seconds of guaranteed channel off
Exactly.
until you get hit by something.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you
How
also
wide is
have to
this?
find a speed for that tornado. Like, how fast do you want it to move? Like, do you want it to be super quick or rather slow? But I figure it would be really awesome. And actually, the comparison to the Golem boss on Sky Temple is very good, because I think the radius of the tornado could be similar, right? You don't want it to be too big, so it would be too easy to land the spell, but...
I'd still say on a heroic, you probably want it a little bigger, because the one on Sky Temple's kind of cool. You either have to make it a lot faster than the boss on Sky Temple, or quite a bit wider in order to make it impressive, a heroic ability.
Yeah. And also, something you could add similar to the Ravenous Spirit on Nazebo would be like the tornado would leave a trail behind it, so you can guess where the druid stands.
Okay, so very much similar to the Ravenous Spirit in that sense.
Exactly. So it would be a little bit unfair if you hit in a bush or around a corner and nobody could tell where you are exactly. So, yeah. Maybe put something in there. But I just think there could be a lot more cool channeling abilities right now in the game.
I agree, definitely. It's if we had more channeling abilities and more protection abilities, we could be seeing the channeling abilities a lot more, because right at the moment the meta is CC, which is why we're not seeing any of the channeling abilities.
Yeah, and about that synergy with the W skill, of course, you put that Cyclone armor on you and then you channel, and the first ability that could stun you, maybe the Muradin Bolt or whatever, would not get through. So that's pretty much the thought behind it. Give a little bit of bonus protection. And last but not least will be the Druid's Feral Companion. So this is something I thought about for a very long time, because I didn't want it to make OP or to make it OP. But it's just like a feral wolf that walks behind or around the Druid, whatever. And this wolf doesn't deal anything. Like, it doesn't attack people. It doesn't soak up damage. You can't control it. It's just there for the looks. But what it does in its passive, it'll increase your vision radius permanently. Just a little bit.
Nice.
Doesn't make it OP. And you can't see into bushes or anything. Just, have a slightly bigger vision radius. Not as much as Oracle from Tassadar, obviously, but a tiny little bit bigger. And you can activate that feral companion. Then you could implement like a cool wolf animation that it runs around or whatever. And during that short period of time, you can actually, discover and detect cloaked and things like heroes, creep tumors, whatever.
Basically, we're back to episode 1 where it's like, damn you, Zeratul.
Yeah.
Go away.
And once again, comparing it to Tassadar, I mean, you could make it a lot shorter, just like 1 second, where the wolf gives you a little bit of an impression, and then it goes back, right? Not as
Could I make a suggestion on the active style of that? Because, like you said, it seems quite similar to Tassadar in terms of just AoE vision style. Yep. So why not have the active style in that he can basically target a location and the wolf will run to that location, whether it's a bush, etc., and give him a second bit of vision there. So he is basically a walking ward machine where he can just choose where to leave the wolf every now and again. But if he walks too far away, wolf returns to him and goes on cooldown.
You could still think about it, right? You could say like the target area will be revealed or everything along its path.
And he has to return it. It goes on cooldown. If he walks too far away, it goes on cooldown. So he can just go into a lane and think Dragonshire, where you have both shrines. You want the dragon. You know they're probably in that bush. You don't want to face check it. Send the wolf in. Instantly scouted.
That's actually, I like that a lot better. So people at home watching, take that suggestion and add it to your mind when thinking or reading that skill. Awesome. Thank you, Tetcher. Cool. Yeah. So that was the Diablo 2 Druid. I really hope that Blizzard is going to get at least 1 or 2 characters from Diablo 1 or 2 into the game, especially for those young fellas out there who didn't even play it.
I would quite like to see the Diablo 2 style of Diablo as a skin, maybe. Like skinny Diablo. Because I quite like that.
I mean, and even if Blizzard wouldn't implement Diablo 2 heroes themselves, they could do something like give the monk from Diablo 3 a paladin from Diablo 2 skin, because they're both supporters, whatever. I mean, you could do so much stuff with the great universes that they created, and so maybe just Diablo 1 or 2, some love, just tiny little bit of love, and I would be a happy man.
Well, there's some bosses in those games that weren't in the other two, weren't in 3, aren't there?
Mephisto, for example, one of Diablo's brothers, one of the greater evils, or Baal. You also have really cool minor bosses that appeared in Diablo 2 already and reappeared in Diablo 3, for example, Izual.
We have characters that are in the previous 2 Diablos who stay around for a bit longer, aka Deckard Cain.
Deckard Cain, for example, absolutely. And we know that the Skeleton King is about to hit the game at some point. This is true. Right?
Excited about that.
Skeleton King was in every Diablo game.
Skeleton King and Butcher were have both been confirmed as definitely coming.
Ooh. Yep. Sweet. So, Haas, now that we've established that you're a young bloke, a greenhorn, so to speak, when it comes to Diablo. No, I'm just kidding. Tell us a little bit about your hero that you came up with. And I'm actually really excited to see if you can take your first title.
Well,
subtle brag there. I like it.
I'm just going straight over the flame. So I'm going for a hero who you've done, I believe, a relative of at one point.
Yep.
And me being me, I'm going to do another support. I think everyone I've done has been a support except for Belial. I think.
Well, and that was actually your best hero so far when it came to resonance from the viewers. So
I need to get out of the support. But yeah, I'm going to go for someone in WoW and Hearthstone. A support from Hearthstone. Going to be pretty easy to guess, but I guess we'll go. It's going to be Anduin.
Nice. There we go. Yeah. Anduin with the sexy Hearthstone picture. Man, believe it or not, I did not manage to find any better picture of Anduin.
Yeah, nor did I when I googled.
Is WoW icon looks nowhere near as good as his Hearthstone one?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is one, I'm sure you saw that as well, Haas and Tetcher, where he looks like super mature and with that weird military look that looks more like homosexual than anything else. It's incredibly dumb.
Yeah, not worth it. Anduin versus Anduin.
The light shall burn you.
The light shall burn you. I can't remember what the second quote is.
Take it away.
You have
what
two of them.
Were your thoughts when you created Anduin?
So again, I wanted another support. I like supports. And I didn't really play much WoW. So you can probably see that from the abilities and the traits, they're kind of like from Hearthstone more so. But even in Hearthstone, there are a ton of like priest-only spells and minions that you could really pick from. So I was thinking about what could be the perfect fit, what can transition over well, and how they'd work. What's strong enough to be a heroic, what isn't, and yeah. And the trait was probably one of the hardest and the one I had to probably adapt a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now that you mentioned Anduin and his playstyle, I mean there isn't really a priest class in Heroes of Storm yet, right? There is no.
There is.
I mean, we have a paladin, which is of course being Uther, but no traditional priest class. So I tried to do one myself with the Velen. It didn't go well for me. So
I'd like to point out people are just quoting Anduin quotes from Hearthstone in the chat right now. I'm loving it. If Hoss says anything I have to correct, then I am doing that quote.
So yeah, Hoss, awesome. I can't wait to hear your Anduin concept. Take it away.
So I'm going to start
with the D.
Yeah, I was going to start with the trait.
Okay, gotcha.
So I believe with Belial I had summons that came from the trait as well, and I'm going to bring that one through as well with Anduin.
I can't wait to hear your explanation for this, because I was frowning quite a bit when I typed that into my OBS scene. But take it away.
What, Light of the Naru?
Mm-hmm.
So in Hearthstone you use Light of the Naru and you summon Light Wardens. So that's what it essentially went for here. Every time you heal an ally, you summon a Light Warden to fight alongside you. You can have multiple of these active at the same time. They obviously have a duration on them. They're very squishy, but they do a little bit of damage there. And
so how do these Light Wardens work? Like, can you control them directly? Are they just...
they will... Whoever you auto-attack, they will auto-attack as well.
Okay.
They're going to be ranged. They're going to be by your side. They're going to be very small, though.
And will they be minions? Like Asmodee's minions, for example? Can you target them and kill them? How much
they're going to be
will
minions.
they have? Roughly?
Again, very, very squishy, but they'll have a duration. You shouldn't really be on the front line because you're a ranged support.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be
Will
alongside
they get
you.
stronger the more you heal your allies, like an actual Hearthstone Light Warden?
The way I was going to go for it was that they don't get stronger, but say you heal multiple allies with a certain spell, which we'll look at later.
Mm-hmm. I think I already know what it is.
Yep. Say you heal like 4 allies, you'll have 4 Light Wardens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that sounds kind of cool. Are they timed?
Yeah, there will be a time duration.
Okay, all right.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you have like 30
you could also make them timed by, say, after 2 auto attacks, they will disappear.
I'd go more so duration, because if they weren't timed, if they weren't timed, you could just walk to lane healing an ally.
I was about to
by the time
say.
you get to lane, you're gonna be like, surprise!
Spawners just to have one person just keep attacking the easy camp.
Yes.
But not killing it, just keep resetting it, have Anduin repeatedly heal them over and over again, create an army, and then walk into the enemy base.
Just imagine all the Light Wardens would be a clone of Anduin, and then you had like tiny Anduins around Anduin.
I feel like it'd be like Asmodan in the mines. I remember you doing that video, Tetcher.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Abuse it to all hell.
Yeah. So let's now move on to the Q.
Yep.
And when I sent this, oh no, it was the W I sent you and you really liked. But Q, Holy Fire, deal damage to an enemy and heal your closest ally. So again, pretty long range.
That will prioritize heroes, I assume.
Yeah, prioritizing heroes for your closest ally, whoever's closest to you. So again, it allows you to really do a little bit of damage to your opponent because support needs some damage in their kit. And most of the time you'll be next to your assassin. You don't want to be on the front line healing your tank. Yeah. So should your assassin need it, it's going to most likely go towards them.
Right, so it's definitely going to the closest rather than the Lily style of the most damaged.
Yes, the closest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so very much a situation of... So it's a situation of, come back and let me heal you, you son of a bitch, in team fights.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
There's a good question, I think, in the chat right now. Snake Jabba asks, could you heal the Wardens?
Well, if there's no...
Because if you healed the Wardens, then it would spawn another Warden,
Yes,
right?
it would spawn another one. So if there's, like, no hero near you, yes, it could default back onto the Light Wardens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Or could you not just set it so that Light Wardens only spawn when you heal heroes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could.
It would probably be a good adjustment, I think.
Yeah. I say ally. I mean, Light Wardens are technically your allies close.
Okay.
Damn it, Tetcher.
I mean, that's why I said at the beginning, we're just toying around here, right? We're not dead. drop dead serious about it, so whatever. Okay, let's move on to W then, Mr. Haas. I like this one quite a bit because it introduces some sort of new mechanics, maybe?
Yeah, it introduces a new form of CC. So we've got Mind Blast, so really going for that mind style infliction poison. Now, deal damage to a target from long range, has a lot longer range than Holy Fire. I'm thinking you could potentially hit the back line here.
Would it be
like
skill
so
shot
So
or a
compare it,
target?
compare it
target.
to another ability in terms of range.
I feel like Tyrael's Judgment.
Okay, so not too far away. You have to be on
No.
the same screen
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least, rather than like Wailing Arrow
Yeah,
kind
maybe
of range.
just a little bit over, yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha.
it's
Yeah.
not terrible. I'm
Uh,
assuming pre level 20 talent.
Yeah, pre-20.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He improved judgment.
Why not level 20 Hunt? I hear that's a good range. Deal damage to target from long range and fear them.
So now, Haas, imagine you being one of the main designers of Hero of the
Yep.
Storm, and you would have to bring the fear mechanics into that game. How would you design it?
Well, in League, you have two kinds of fear. You have Shaco's fear, and Fiddle fear, where the enemies just run around in a short circle very slowly, and you have Hecarim style fear from Onslaught of Shadows, where they run away from him. I feel
Oh,
as
I
if
didn't even know
because
that.
it's
Holy cow.
yeah, because it's long range, I feel like just almost running around in a small circle, like because their mind's been afflicted, they're not exactly going to run away scared. They're just going to be a bit disorientated and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And would you implement something like a visual on the affected player's screen, like something similar
Yeah.
to the Stitch's belly or whatever? Which is really gross, by the way.
Yeah, so I hate to reference this game, but you know in Minecraft, where you, I believe, poison yourself and you go like all disorientated? I feel like you could have that for the duration. That'd be pretty awesome.
Cool. And is it going to be a skill shot or
No, targeted.
Okay, so you could
Targeted.
target it and it wouldn't land, or it wouldn't affect the first target hit, but goes through
Point
it
and
and
click.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it quite a bit. Tetcher, any objections or whatever?
I am not a fan of fear mechanics in most games,
No?
to be fair, because I fear they are,
I see
as
what
a
you mean.
rule, a bit of a lazy form of crowd control in terms of design in most games. Like League is one of the few games that actually does it right, but they only do it right because they put variation on different heroes, which is very hard to put in when you're writing down the details of a champion, etc. So I'm just not a fan of fear mechanics in general. I think that ability would work fantastically if it was maybe not so much probably not a stun, but target slow, a target
Yeah.
maybe not take as fair, pull them towards you kind of thing, like think Stitch's hook or Rabbit Primal
And like
Grasp
force
kind
them
of
to
thing.
walk towards you.
Yes, so in a displacement, but
Yeah.
under their own power and volition kind of thing, rather than I'm going to force you to run around in circles for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
You could
I guess.
also maybe rename it then and call it Confuse or whatever. And
I mean, the name still was still is perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, potentially. I thought it'd be just cool to add a new form of CC in.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you could also, of course, it could be cleansed, anything else that we would have to add to that new CC mechanics? Probably not. How long would it last, by the way?
I was thinking maybe 1.5 seconds.
Fair enough.
Not too long, because it would be a very low risk skill, and you don't want it to be like 2.5 seconds, because that'd be high reward for it. But I feel like 1.5 works.
And just, of course, to make things super clear for everybody at home, if you talk about fear, would the enemy affected hero be totally useless during that period of time, or could it do auto attacks? How would you like to
No.
do that in heroes?
It's the way it would work is they're kind of stunned but still moving a little bit, kind of thing. And of course, if they're on the back line and you're using it just to get a bit of CC off, or say you're using it onto an assassin, then it will give your tanks time to get there.
Yeah.
It's stun with RNG.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's
Cool.
basically the cursed hollow version of a stun.
And what cooldown would the Mind Blast have then? Because I figure it would be
Yeah,
quite
I'm
high,
feeling
like
pretty
20
long.
seconds. Because
Yeah, it's something around maybe 14 to 18, somewhere in that region.
Because ideally, you shouldn't be able to cast that twice in a short team fight.
Yeah, two in a team fight would be pretty good.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on to the E-skill then, shall we?
Yeah, so we've got Circle of Healing here. This is where the Light Wardens come in and the Light of the Naru. So simple, heal everyone that's closest, or heal everyone around you. I've got the text as heal allies in a circle around you.
Yep, perfect. So straightforward.
Simple, easy.
Says it all.
Yep. Very. It's going to be a pretty small circle though. It's not going to be too great. Probably
Right-wing area or wider?
Slightly, maybe a little bit more than Brightwing, but only
So
minute.
it's an active ability, so it makes a lot of sense.
And is it instant, or does it have like a short cast animation, or like a wave that?
Yeah, it'll be in a
moves
wave, so it'll
towards-
heal the allies closest to you first, and then fan out.
So, like in theory, allies could walk away from you, and the wave
Yes.
wouldn't be fast enough to catch them.
Yes, in theory. Yes.
So it requires a little bit of team play, right? You have to communicate with the allies. Come close to me. I want to heal you.
Yep.
Cool. By the way, how do you like the Hearthstone icons that I put in there?
I was wondering where you got them from. I thought you made them yourselves. They're so good.
I can see. I would like to put out. I really like the idea of that because you can. It sounds like. He's really sounded like a hero who would be amazing to bring sprint back in. Because we don't have enough sprint supports anymore that really make a difference with their sprint. They're all escapes because Ufa obviously got it removed.
Yeah.
I like the idea of someone who actually has a friendly use for sprint. My team is dying. Sprint into the front line, heal them, run the hell away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love
well,
that
if you want to go for that, you should wait for heroic number 2.
Oh, good. I think I know what it is.
No.
Oh, damn it, right? I gave it away with the icons from Hearthstone.
No, I don't have the stream up. I just think I can guess.
Okay.
Well, the first heroic is going to be Mind Control. Now, think Sylvanas Possession, but better.
Yes, please.
On heroes.
Take control of an enemy hero for 5 seconds.
There we go.
This hero cannot be controlled, cannot be microed, but they will auto-attack their closest ally. They cannot use abilities.
Is this a channel ability from you?
No, this is just a straight-up boom done. Like
Okay,
maybe
so you just-
maybe 0.51 second of a channel time initially, but then as soon as they're under your control, you can still heal. Because I feel like the trade-off there is that you don't have full control of them, because they can only auto-attack, so you've got to really think about who you're using it on.
Can your team attack them while they are mind controlled?
No.
That's a good question.
No.
Okay, so they are technically on your team, but they
Yes.
they basically lost control. They will auto attack their own teammates, kind of thing.
Yeah, whoever's closest to them. So imagine
Okay.
using it on an assassin.
Use
Does-
this on Illidan, please.
Yeah, so at this moment, does Rhaegar and Tasta just run away from his Illidan? Or do they stay close and wait for the duration to finish while getting auto-attacked?
Well, I could right now. I just thought of. I don't know why it came to my head. Just a wombo combo of Illidan dives into your team. You mind control him and set up a force wall because his
Yeah.
team will run away from the Illidan, and you just stop Illidan following his team and
Yeah.
wait for the mind control to wear off and then kill him.
Yeah. And again, then that's another reason why I thought it'd be reasonably strong was because you can set them up afterwards to just get the easy kill should they not have any escapes.
Everyone group around our
Yeah.
new friend Illidan. We're going to initiate him.
But then, of course, because he's Illidan, he's going to QW Metamorphosis out.
Exactly.
Uh,
Now,
And he's,
not
of
even gonna
course,
first
going to be
aid.
that one Illidan that took Bolt on level 20 because he's an
Yeah.
arsehole.
could you use that on neutral minions or mercenaries as
Nope.
well? Okay,
No, just enemy heroes.
gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
I like it quite a bit because this brings a lot of satisfaction on your own team, and I think it would drive people nuts if it happened on them. Because just imagine you sitting in front of your computer, you got the hands on the keyboard, on the mouse, and you can't do anything about it, right?
And
then
Party
you,
Foul highlighted as well, sorry. Oh my god, if you use that on a support, 5 seconds of no healing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
pretty scary.
What do you trade off? Do you trade off no healing? Do you trade off no damage coming from the enemy team? What do you go for? Or no front line?
I would like to point out how long range is this ability? And I'm assuming
Like,
it's a
pretty
target
short.
ability.
Yeah, targeted again. Pretty short
Okay.
range. You're probably looking at... probably Zeratil's blink range, maybe? maybe a little bit more, maybe VP.
So quite similar to a polymorph range kind of thing.
Yeah,
Brightwing's polymorph, I think, is a good
Okay.
one.
It's I agree with you. It should be that. I also would like to point out that it would be far more fun if it was a skill shot.
it would be.
Think Dragon Ball Z, Captain Ginyu.
Not seen Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, come on!
Get out of here, Huss.
So yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, I agree. It makes more sense as a targetability, but a skill shot would be very funny because then Murky runs in front of your target.
No. Yeah.
Exactly. The videos.
Yeah. Now, one of the problems I actually had with Anduin was that there are just so many Hearthstone cards that you could take. One of them that I've seen on some other hero concept was the Shadow Priest, so that your heals do damage. That I've seen that as a heroic and as a trait, but I had thought to just disregard it and get it out of this one, and I went for Holy Nova as the second heroic. So again, as you expect, send a burst of light out in a large radius. This is a lot larger than Circle of Healing, a lot larger, dealing damage to all enemies hit, blinding them for 1 attack, and healing all allies hit.
Now, would this have some sort of activation time, casting time?
Yeah. So again, a pretty short casting time, and it would also have the travel time, much like Circle of Healing.
Is the travel time outrunnable? Like, can a enemy in theory run along the edge of it like you can with Emerald Wind?
Probably not. I'm feeling a little bit faster than Emerald Wind. Like, you'd be able to blink, vault, barrel roll out of it, maybe.
Sprint.
Yep, sprint would probably get you out of it.
Okay. But not a normal hero's running speed away.
No, not running speed, not mount speed.
Okay.
Sprint.
Then maybe with a 20 talent and improved Holy Nova would be like
Improved travel.
super
Yeah,
fast.
instant. Yeah. Instant cast, boom, done. Everything. So yeah.
Cool. I like it quite a bit, Hoss. So, what would you think about talons here for Anduin? Which talons would you definitely try to give him?
As Tetcher said, sprint at 13.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have a specialized cleanse at 4. Because we need more supports with cleanse.
Yep.
Agreed.
Then you can obviously go for the 20 on Holy Nova in like instant travel time and channel. Maybe Light of the Naru, so that maybe increase HP, increase duration. Maybe their auto attacks slow enemies by 5% or something.
You mean the auto attacks of the Light Warrens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds dangerous and abusable.
Only 5% not stacking. Like really,
Still sounds dangerous and abusable. There's still going to be a lot of Light Wardens by the time you actually get into a fight.
Yeah.
There's a comment in the chat which is awesome. Level 20 upgrade, semi-global range, run fools, run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get back to the hall. Get back to the hall. I like the one above
for
it.
that, I
All
imagine-
ability should be skill shots.
The StarCraft Heart of the Swarm trailer, where I think it's one of the Terran units running away. I think in the trailer, I imagine that.
Run away from the Ultralisk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cloud of smoke that's coming over.
Okay.
That'd be pretty good to see. And cinema.
Right. Pretty awesome so far. I like this episode, to be honest, quite a bit. I think we came up with some really cool heroes. 2 new or neglected universes so far in the Heroes of the Storm game.
If Hoss had gone rock and roll racing, we would have been set.
Yep.
I've never heard of that game.
Come on!
I'm not even ashamed
today
about
with
this
the
anymore.
references.
I'm not even ashamed.
So yeah, actually we're a little bit over time here, so we should just call it quits, just give some shout outs towards the end, and it was a pleasure having you guys as always. Some great hero concepts. Thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. And Tetcher started off with some shout outs.
Everyone, shout out to Forecourt Jester who just did an awesome AMA. That was that was cool to see on Reddit.
I have yet to read that. Need to go check that.
So do I.
You should. It was good. But yeah, shout out to all my casting and player and other friends. Go check out my YouTube, youtube.com/Tetcher for Heroes of the Stormcast. Go check out Kendrick's YouTube For the VOD of this, for Curry, that is, because Curry apparently missed mine at the start, the VODs of every episode of this are up on Kendrick's channel.
Yep, exactly. And Mr. Haas, who would you like to give us a shout out to?
I'm going to give a shout out to my great Ding It TV partner who didn't even mention me. Tetcher.
You were included in my casting, buddy.
I wanted a personal one. Twitter.com/Hoslot, Twitch.tv/Hoslot. I think that's about it. Big shout out to Kendrick for doing this show consistently, and of course all the top 10 plays. I believe you hit 1 million complete channel views, didn't you?
Complete channel views. Yes, we cracked the 1 million mark.
Nice.
The 1 million mark. I'm really happy about that. Holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for me, I
Super
think.
excited. And thank you, of course, to everyone who's been watching here on Twitch and YouTube, of course. We will be implementing a link for straw poll. So just give it a vote. If you liked one of the heroes best, then let us know in the straw poll and tell us who we'd like to win the thing. I will put a link into the YouTube video description. So definitely check out the thing on YouTube as soon as it's up. And in order to do so, you should subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you everybody for watching. Thanks Tetcher and Haas for being with me once again. And
Always a pleasure.
see you next week, I would say. So have a good evening. Bye-bye.